The first thing I heard when I woke up in the hospital was my wife's frantic voice. A cold dread seized me. "Nia." I scrambled off the gurney, my bare feet hitting the cold linoleum floor, and rushed out, fearing the worst for our daughter. But the scene I stumbled upon was not what I expected. My wife, Chloe, was clutching a police officer's arm, her face a mask of desperate pleading. "Officer, you understand? Liam is a public figure. He absolutely cannot have a mark on his record. I'm speaking as the child's mother. I'm willing to sign a letter of understanding. That should be enough, right?" My steps faltered. I stood frozen in place. So this was her priority? Not our daughter, who had been in a horrific accident, but the pristine reputation of her male best friend? Today was supposed to be Nia's birthday. I had bought her favorite snow-white cake and a new pink ballet tutu. I was driving her home from school. Halfway there, an SUV, ignoring all traffic laws, slammed into us from behind. In that last terrifying moment, I saw Nia's small hand reaching out as if to shield me. Now, she was lying in the intensive care unit, her life hanging by a thread, while the drunk driver, Liam, was about to be absolved with a simple signature. On what grounds? Just as the officer was about to leave, I lunged forward. "Wait, I do not consent." Chloe's head snapped toward me, her brow furrowed in severe irritation. "What is your problem?" Liam already apologized. "What more do you want?" Beside her, Liam put on a pitiful expression. "Ethan, I'm so sorry. I wasn't thinking straight when I hit you. I truly know I was wrong now." Their combined act was so absurd, I almost laughed. My daughter hasn't even woken up yet, and you think a few empty words can just wipe this away? Before I could finish, Chloe stepped forward and slapped me across the face. "He didn't do it on purpose. What do you want? A life for a life." I looked at Liam, sheltered behind her, a smirk of undisguised provocation on his face. The sting on my cheek was sharp, but the ache in my chest was 1,000 times worse. So this is how little our daughter meant to her. Nia's life was worth less than her friend's career. I was speechless, watching her leave with him. Without even asking once about Nia's condition, my heart turned to ice. She didn't deserve to be a mother. Just then, a nurse ran over, her face pale with panic. "Where is Nia Lee's family? The patient's condition is deteriorating." My mind went blank. I stumbled after the nurse to the operating room doors. She thrust a critical condition notice into my hands, her grave expression telling me to prepare for the worst. My heart plummeted. I gripped her arm, my voice breaking. "Please, I'm begging you. Do everything you can to save my daughter. Please." She was so young. She hadn't even had the chance to wear her new pink tutu and dance on the stage she dreamed of. She couldn't die. Not like this. With trembling hands, I pulled out my phone and called Chloe. I hoped, in this desperate moment, that her maternal instincts would kick in and she would come back for Nia. The phone rang for a long time before she finally answered. Her voice was laced with annoyance. "This had better be life or death, or I swear, you and I are finished. Nia is dying. Can you please come back and see her?" There was a moment of silence on the other end. It was followed by a cold, scornful laugh. "You really are her good little daddy. I can handle her trying to trick me by playing sick, but now you've started lying too. If she's going to die, she should just get it over with. Don't waste my time while I'm taking Liam to his film set." Her words hit me like a physical blow, and my legs nearly gave out. When I tried to call back, she had already blocked my number. On a television in the hospital corridor, I saw a live broadcast of an awards ceremony. Liam was on stage, accepting the award for Best Actor. His face glowed with triumph as he stood at the podium. To be standing here today, there's one person I have to thank above all others. Without her, I wouldn't have had the strength to make it this far. "Chloe, I love you." The camera immediately cut to Chloe in the audience. Her eyes were brimming with emotional tears as she waved a fan sign, mouthing a response to his public confession. My fists clenched so tightly my knuckles turned white. I stared at the two of them on the screen, filled with a helpless, burning hatred. Half an hour later, the surgeon emerged, sweat beading on his forehead, and let out a long breath of relief. The surgery was a success. We brought her back, but, due to prolonged compression of her legs, it's very unlikely she'll ever be able to walk again. The joy that had surged through me vanished, replaced by a dizzying blackness. Nia's dream was to be a ballerina. She loved dancing more than anything. From a young age, she practiced until her toes bled, never once complaining. There were 2 brand new pairs of ballet slippers in the trunk of my car right now. Why did fate have to be so cruel? Why did it have to steal her one and only dream? I sat in the hallway, completely lost, until dusk fell. Then, I dragged my heavy feet into her room. Nia was awake. When she saw me, she peered behind me hopefully. Did Mommy come too? I think I heard her voice when I was unconscious. My mouth opened, but no words came out. I had to lie. Yes, Mommy was very worried. But I thought you'd be hungry after your surgery, so I sent her home to cook for you. Does Mommy think I'm clumsy? Does she think I made you worry? Nia's voice was small. If I hadn't insisted on buying candy from that one shop, you wouldn't have taken that road, and maybe we wouldn't have crashed. I couldn't bear to see her blame herself. I turned away to wipe the tears from my eyes before patting her head. Of course not, sweetheart. It was just an accident. It wasn't your fault. Just then, my phone rang. It was Chloe. I hesitated for a second before answering. Ethan, what did you buy that was so expensive? You've maxed out my credit card. It was for Nia's medical bills. The surgery was a success, she's. I walked to the window, but Chloe cut me off. She sneered. I thought she was dying? What? You couldn't keep up the act. You two really are two peas in a pod, both pathological liars. What excuse are you going to use to trick me into coming to the hospital now? From behind me, I heard my daughter's curious voice. Is that Mommy? Meeting her hopeful gaze, I couldn't bring myself to argue with Chloe in front of her. I simply hung up the phone. No, it was the insurance company. The light in her eyes dimmed, and she looked down, lost in her own thoughts. The anesthesia hadn't worn off yet. Nia didn't know that she would spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair, and I had no idea how to tell her. After I coaxed her to sleep, I left the room and stood in the hallway, smoking a cigarette. In that moment, my mind was terrifyingly calm. I contacted a lawyer. It was time to draft the divorce papers. No special requests. Just make it as fast as possible. At this point, all I wanted was to sever all ties with her. Chloe had canceled my cards and transferred all the money from my salary account. My calls and messages went unanswered. Then, I saw her on Liam's social media feed. She was on vacation. A photo showed her in a red bikini on a beach, an unmistakable love bite on her fair neck. The tender expression on her face was one I had never seen directed at me. The caption read, "Seeing the ocean with the one I love most. After all this time, it's still you by my side." I nearly crushed my phone in my hand. But reality quickly set in. If I didn't pay the enormous medical bills soon, Nia would be discharged. I called every friend I had, but I couldn't even raise a third of what was needed. The subsequent rehabilitation therapy would be even more expensive. The savings in my account, which would have been enough, were all gone, taken by Chloe. I slammed my fist against the wall, the physical pain a dull distraction from the frantic panic in my heart. Then, on the wall of a hospital bathroom, I saw a small, grimy advertisement. Selling blood. For a man at the end of his rope, it felt like a lifeline. My hand shaking, I dialed the number and got the address of a private clinic. Over 2 days, they drew my blood 5 times. With the $10,000 I received, I paid off the hospital bills and even bought Nia a pair of prosthetic legs. I told myself things would get better. My daughter would dance again one day. But as I dragged my exhausted body back to her room, I found a crowd gathered at her door. A terrible premonition washed over me. My vision was starting to blur from the excessive blood loss, but I gritted my teeth and pushed through the people. The moment I stepped into the room, I saw a nurse pulling a white sheet over Nia's head. In that instant, my world collapsed. Everything went black. I fell to my knees, my body devoid of strength. The new prosthetic legs I was holding clattered to the floor. "Mr. Lee, please accept my condolences." My eyes were dry. I couldn't understand. She had been fine this morning. How could she just be gone? I thought things were getting better. But Nia was dead. Onlookers were murmuring amongst themselves. That poor child. Wasn't that woman who came earlier her mother? I don't know, maybe a stepmother? She didn't seem too broken up about it. What? Chloe was here? I turned my head stiffly, ignoring the waves of dizziness, and lunged at the person who had spoken, grabbing his collar. "What did you say? What happened here?" The man, startled, stammered. "I was just passing by. I don't know anything. Just that some male celebrity brought a woman here. I don't know what they said, but the kid started crying and calling for her mom, but the woman didn't even look back. The kid tried to follow them out, but she fell. I guess the shock was too much. I can't believe she's gone so fast." It was Chloe and Liam. They were the ones who killed her. They were the real murderers. A violent storm raged inside me. A mouthful of blood erupted from my lips, and then I lost consciousness completely. When I woke up again, I was in a hospital bed. The doctor said my body was extremely weak and I needed to rest. I ignored him and discharged myself immediately. Being here, breathing in the smell of disinfectant, only reminded me of Nia. With the money left from selling my blood, I bought a small burial plot. Without Nia, money felt meaningless. I traced the photograph on her urn, tears finally streaming down my face. Don't worry, Daddy will always be with you. As I left the cemetery, my lawyer sent over the finalized divorce papers. I gave him a second task. I have the dashcam footage of Liam's drunk driving, as well as a recording of him attempting to buy my silence. I'm suing him. I want to see his reputation utterly destroyed. The moment I hung up, my landlord called. Ethan, why didn't you tell me you were moving out? You've left me in a real bind. I have to find a new tenant now. I was confused. Moving out. This was the first I'd heard of it. I hung up and rushed home, only to find my wife directing movers to carry our furniture out of the apartment. She was also throwing all of Nia's ballet dresses into the trash. Stop. What are you doing? I ran to stop her, carefully retrieving the now soiled dresses from the bin. Chloe shot me a look of disgust. I asked the doctor. Nia will never walk again. What's the point of keeping this junk? Trash belongs in the trash. She reached to snatch the dresses from my arms. I held on tight, my eyes burning with hatred. Perhaps frightened by the cold fury in my gaze, Chloe let go with a pout. I turned and yelled at the movers. This is my home. Who gave you permission to take anything? Get out. Chloe scoffed. I'm the lady of this house. If I say move, you move. You love staying at the hospital so much, right? This place is just sitting empty, a waste of rent. Speaking of which, I've been meaning to ask you. I cut you off completely. How did you manage to pay that $80,000 hospital bill? Where did you get that money? Don't tell me you've been seeing some trashy woman behind my back. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I slapped her across the face. For the 10 wasted years of my life, and for Nia, who had worried about this woman even in her final moments. Chloe glared at me, incandescent with rage. You dare hit me? Ethan, do you want a divorce? Yes, let's get a divorce. Chloe froze, staring at me in disbelief. What did you say? Have you lost your mind? Don't forget, you were the one who begged me to marry you. I laughed coldly. I was blind back then. I chose the wrong person. Now, I regretted it, and I refused to sink any further into this endless mire. Chloe smoothed her hair and tossed an invitation at me. I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Tomorrow is Liam's celebration party. I've promised to be his date. Don't you forget to show up. I looked at the flamboyant script on the red invitation and agreed readily. Not only would I be there, I would be dressed for the occasion. The next day, I arrived at the party to discover it wasn't just a celebration. It was Liam's elaborately staged marriage proposal to my wife. Seeing my late arrival, he shot me a provocative look and gestured for me to come on stage. Ethan, as the witness to my love story with Chloe, won't you care to say a few words? Chloe shot me a warning look. Just play along. The media is all here. If you dare say anything out of line, believe me, I will divorce you. I took the microphone, my face a blank mask. Facing dozens of media cameras, I began, my voice steady and deep. I am honored to be a witness here today. It's true. I have personally watched the two of them get to know and love each other. And so today, as Chloe's husband, and as the father of her deceased child, I also have a special gift for everyone here. As I spoke, Chloe's face turned pale. She tried to grab the microphone, but I deftly moved it out of her reach. During my marriage to Chloe, she cheated on me multiple times with Liam. After Liam, driving drunk, crashed into my car, she signed a letter of understanding on my behalf without my consent. While my daughter was fighting for her life in the ICU, she, as a mother, was at Liam's awards ceremony cheering him on. She even brought him to the hospital, where they tormented my daughter until she died. The large screen behind the stage flickered and then began to play the footage from my dashcam. It was the video of Liam, drunk, at the scene of the accident. Chloe pointed at me, her voice shrill with rage. What are you trying to do? Nia is fine. How dare you curse her like that? Are you so desperate to get me back that you'll resort to anything? I just looked at her, my expression cold. Chloe, let's get a divorce. At those words, she froze for a moment, then looked at me in utter disbelief. What did you say? You want to divorce me? She knew I had always been completely devoted to her. No matter how angry I'd been in the past, I had never once mentioned divorce. Panic began to set in. She reached for me, a rare look of helplessness on her face. No, you're just angry with me, right? You wouldn't divorce me. I'm not mad at you anymore, okay? Come on, I'll go with you to see Nia. I smiled, a bitter, humorless expression, and shook her hand off. Then, I took out Nia's urn. You wanted to see Nia? She's right here. Why don't you hold her? Chloe's eyes widened, and the color drained from her lips. What is this? You're lying, aren't you? There's no way Nia is really dead. Seeing her disbelief, I produced the death certificate from the doctor. What? Now you're scared to face it. Use your brain for a second. With how much I loved Nia, do you really think I would use her life as a joke? I had been the one to raise our daughter. She was always closer to me, always came to me first with her troubles. Chloe remembered this, and her entire body began to tremble uncontrollably. She screamed and scrambled backward as if the urn was something terrifying. I watched her, a profound sadness settling in my heart. Why didn't you tell me? What kind of a father are you? She shrieked, collapsing onto the floor in a weeping mess, oblivious to the flashing cameras. I had reached my limit. I called you so many times from the hospital. What did you say to me then? Now you're blaming me for not protecting her? When you were out fooling around with Liam, when you ignored her cries for help, did it ever occur to you that Nia could die? I threw the divorce papers into her lap. Sign them. I never want to see you again. And neither does Nia. But Chloe just shook her head frantically. She looked at me with terror in her eyes. It's not like you said. I thought you were lying to me. I don't want a divorce. If you force me, I'll make sure you leave with nothing. We had a prenuptial agreement. I always knew she might use it to threaten me. But now, I didn't care about any of it. Do whatever you want. This marriage is over. With that, I pushed past her and walked out of the banquet hall. The scandal was massive. Liam's career was ruined. And yet, he still had the nerve to stay by Chloe's side and send me a taunting message. Look at the pathetic lapdog now. Feeling proud of yourself. I knew your daughter was dead. So what? The two of you combined will never be more important to Chloe than me. By the way, do you want to know why your daughter died, even after a successful surgery? My lips trembled as I read on, Liam's gloating words echoing in my mind. I took Chloe to her room that day. I told her, your mommy doesn't want you anymore. You're just going to be a cripple in a wheelchair with no parents. I didn't think she'd be so fragile. She died so quickly. He was proud of it. He even confessed that the crash was deliberate. I'd been drinking anyway, so I had an excuse. It was the perfect way to make Chloe realize what was truly in her heart. Why not? Reading those words was like a knife twisting in my gut. Just to prove his own sick point, he had murdered my daughter. Liam continued to boast. Think whatever you want. Just don't bother Chloe anymore. And don't you dare regret this. When I didn't reply, he seemed to lose interest and hung up. I took a moment to compose myself, then immediately called a friend in journalism. I still had proof of their affair. I had been holding back, perhaps wanting to keep one last card to play. But now, I just wanted them to suffer. That evening, my friend's news agency broke the story. The headline, Pop star Liam's affair and drunk driving leads to death of partner's child, shot to the top of the news feeds within minutes. Is this for real? I can't believe I used to be a fan. Unfollowed. How shameless can you be? That was a child's life. People like him should be banned from the entertainment industry forever. The public outcry was deafening. With a little financial push from my end, official media outlets began reposting the story. Liam's follower count plummeted from 3 million to 100,000 bot accounts. As the public tore him to shreds, I released the videos and photos he had sent me. Even with the faces blurred, his fans recognized their idol. Instantly, Liam's social media accounts were suspended. He couldn't even post a comment. During this time, he called me relentlessly. His tone shifted from furious rage to desperate apologies and pleas. I never wavered. I didn't answer. I just sat at home, holding my daughter's urn. In my tear-blurred vision, I could almost see Nia smiling at me sweetly, just like she used to. As I reached out to touch her, there was a sudden, loud knock at the door. Chloe stood there, crying, begging me to spare Liam. I know what he did to you and Nia was wrong, but he didn't mean it. Please, don't destroy him. He never dated anyone because of me. I know that always bothered you. Even now, she thought this was about jealousy. I said nothing. I just took out the divorce papers. Sign this, agreeing to leave with nothing, and I'll let Liam go. The atmosphere in the room grew heavy. I wanted to see, once and for all, how much Liam was truly worth to her. It turned out, she really did love him. After a moment's hesitation, Chloe snatched the papers and decisively signed her name. I'll give you all the money. Now you have to let him go, right? I nodded, a bitter taste in my mouth. 10 years of marriage, and it meant less than one gesture from him. This marriage truly had no reason to exist. I've already made the appointment. See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau the day after tomorrow in the afternoon. At that moment, all I wanted was to be free of Chloe. After we get the certificate, I need you to come with me to a press conference and say that everything you posted online was a lie. I looked up at her in disbelief. The scandal was so huge that if I admitted to fabricating it, I would go to jail. And yet, to clear Liam's name, she would push me to do this. Fine, I'll go. After a long pause, I nodded. You should go, and don't come back. Chloe looked down. I never thought things would turn out like this. In my heart, you and Nia were important too. What's the use of saying that now? I cut her off impatiently. Just remember to be there for the divorce. Don't be late. As I watched her leave, a cold smile spread across my face. She wanted a press conference? She would get one. Over the next few days, I gathered more evidence. It was time for the final, fatal blow. After we received our divorce certificate, I could see a flicker of reluctance in Chloe's eyes. If you ever regret this, you can always find me. I shook my head decisively. I felt nothing but relief. From now on, I wouldn't have to worry about where she was or deal with her endless string of friends. How could I possibly regret this? Let's just get this over with. Let's go to the press conference. A thrill of anticipation ran through me. I couldn't wait to see the look on Chloe's face when she learned the truth. What would she do when she found out that her shining knight, Liam, was, in fact, a murderer? The moment we walked in, Liam shot me a hateful glare. The public pressure of the past few days had taken its toll. He looked haggard. I thought you had some backbone. Turns out you can be bought after all. Let me tell you, after today, I'll be back on top. I couldn't help but laugh. We'll see. My daughter and I will be watching to see what kind of future a big star like you will have. I ignored him and walked onto the stage. Regarding the recent rumors online, I am here to confirm that they are all true. Mr. Liam not only killed my daughter in a drunk driving accident, he also put me in the ICU, where I nearly died. As I spoke, I pulled a stack of documents from my coat. As for the rumors about Liam and my wife, they are also true. For years, he has sent me intimate photos of them to taunt me. I have chat logs and pictures to prove it. The reporters' cameras flashed wildly. Liam's face turned crimson with rage. He and his agent tried to rush the stage, but security held them back. I continued, just a few days ago, my ex-wife, to be precise, in order to save him, divorced me and gave up all her assets, just to get me to come to this press conference and clear his name. Every statement I made was backed by evidence, my logic unshakable. Online, Liam's guilt was now set in stone. The fans who had come hoping for a rebuttal began throwing things at the stage. Garbage. Get out of the entertainment industry. You're not even human. He should get the death penalty to atone for what he did to that little girl. The roar of the crowd was deafening. Liam collapsed to the floor, defeated. He didn't know that I had arranged everything before I arrived. Chloe ran up to me in a panic. What are you talking about? How could Liam have intentionally crashed into you? It was only when she saw all the evidence that the truth finally sank in. In the next second, Liam broke free from security and lunged at me. I've got nothing left to lose. I might as well take you with me. Everyone here is on my payroll. Why are they all on your side? I sidestepped his attack and kicked him to the ground. Your people? Have you forgotten? Chloe gave me all her money. I'm the one with the capital now. Liam trembled with rage and tried to get up to hit me again, but this time, Chloe slapped him hard across the face. You did it on purpose, and I trusted you. Do you have any idea what I gave up for you? My daughter was so little. How could you? She clawed at his neck, seemingly having lost all reason. Liam fought back just as fiercely, and they began brawling on stage. You bitch. Now you're trying to pin everything on me. Don't forget who was the one who offered to spend the night with me. The one who really killed your daughter was you. At his words, Chloe let out a heartbroken wail and fell to her knees, banging her head on the floor. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have left Nia all alone. I watched this pathetic display with cold detachment, then took out my daughter's urn from my bag. You're panicking now? Where was this when it mattered? Nia and I will never forgive you. The police arrived and separated them, taking them both away. I went to the station as well. With the overwhelming evidence, Liam was immediately detained. We will notify you of any developments, the officer told me. I nodded and walked out of the police station, a heavy burden finally lifted from my shoulders. Nia, Daddy has finally gotten justice for you. But Chloe followed me, refusing to leave. I got in my car and drove off, leaving her to be thrown several feet, collapsing on the pavement. In the rearview mirror, I saw her disheveled, crazed figure. I felt nothing. When I got home, I immediately started packing. I would never come back to this place. Half an hour later, the door was being pounded on again. Chloe's mouth was bleeding, but she didn't seem to notice. Seeing the empty apartment, she started crying again. "Honey, where are you going? Are you leaving me?" She tried to hug me, but I recoiled in disgust. "How many times have you held Liam? Don't touch me. You're filthy." At my words, she began to beat herself frantically. "I won't do it again. I'll never do it again. Honey, please forgive me. I've already lost Nia. Are you going to leave me too? I have nothing left." I looked at her with revulsion. "Don't you think it's a little late for that? When we divorced, I gave you a choice, and you chose to give up everything for Liam." Chloe was speechless. She just knelt on the floor and bowed her head to me over and over. Losing patience, I picked up my luggage to leave. But Chloe suddenly threw herself toward a glass table. I grabbed her just in time. "If you want to hurt yourself, do it somewhere else. Not in my house. I don't want to be held responsible." She must have finally realized I was serious. The light in Chloe's eyes completely faded. She murmured, "I won't let you leave. If you do, I'll kill myself." Her threat had no effect on me. "If you want to die, then die. I'm not going to stop you. I've already removed you from the family register. From now on, Nia is no longer your daughter." With that, I closed the door behind me, ignoring the sounds of Chloe's desperate cries. I was glad we were divorced. Otherwise, who knows how long this would have dragged on. I drove away, taking Nia with me to our new home. It was a place she had once said she loved, full of sunshine, with lots of other children. If there really is a soul after death, then maybe Nia would be happy here. I thought my life would finally be peaceful, but then I received another call from the police. They said Chloe had killed someone and wanted to see me one last time. I rushed over and saw her, her hair matted with blood. In just a few days, she seemed to have aged 10 years. The refined beauty she once had was gone. "You still came to see me. I'm glad," she said with a bitter smile. "I killed Liam with my own hands. You and Nia, don't hate me too much, okay?" It turned out that after I rejected her, Chloe had blamed everything on Liam. After being relentlessly attacked by online mobs, she had snapped. She had claimed she wanted to visit him in jail, but the moment he was released on bail, she stabbed him to death. Chloe seemed to have lost her mind, excitedly describing the details. "I stabbed him in the chest, over and over, as if I was avenging Nia. But I know I'm a murderer too." After a long silence, she slowly looked up at me, her eyes filled with a sense of release. "I know I'm not going to live either. Ethan, in this whole life, you were the only one who was ever good to me. I was the one who messed everything up." To hear her finally admit this, I didn't know whether to feel relieved or find it laughable. In the end, I said nothing. I just turned and walked away. But as I was leaving, I heard her whisper, "I love you." In that moment, my resolve to leave her behind for good only hardened. Her love was cheap. I didn't want it, and neither did Nia. Even if she killed Liam, it couldn't wash the blood from her own hands. After she was executed, I donated her body to medical science. I didn't even erect a tombstone for her. She wasn't there to see Nia off on her final journey. She didn't deserve to be sent off either. 2 years later, my business had grown significantly. I sold all my assets, and with the money, I took Nia and traveled the world. In every new place, I would take a picture with her little urn. Sometimes, when the sun was warm, I felt like it was Nia responding to me. When I missed her too much, I would cry. And every time, a small butterfly would come and land on me. Nia had always loved butterflies. Maybe she was finally free. After we had traveled all over the country, I settled down in a small town. And I met someone new, Lily. She sympathized with my past and was willing to stand by my side. "I believe Nia has moved on to a new life. You need to let yourself go too," she would tell me. "You were a victim in what happened. Don't keep trapping yourself in that vortex of pain." She was always there for me, making my life richer. Slowly, I began to heal. In place of the grief, a more positive outlook began to grow. Sometimes, I even felt that Lily was an angel sent to me by Nia. Her eyes and her heart were only for me. She never flirted with other men. She gave me a sense of security I had never known. After a year together, we got married. Eventually, we had a beautiful child of our own. One night, Lily was lying in my arms and said softly, "I know you still think about Nia. So when our child is old enough, I will tell him that he will always have a big sister." I was moved beyond words. "Yes," I whispered. Nia would be very happy about that. For the rest of our lives, we would each find our own peace.